Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. This is the player ratings for Everton 0, Fulham 2. Don't forget to check out the match reaction as well if you want to. But this is the player rating, so let's just get into it. Olsen, I've given him a 5. I thought he looked a bit dodgy at the start when he punched that cross out and they just hit it over the bar with an open goal. His kicking wasn't great. But ultimately, I don't think it was at fault for both the goals. But, yeah, I mean, I don't think he had many great saves to make, to be honest. I mean, Fulham were creating chances here and there, but I don't really remember him making some great saves. Most of them were wide or whatever. But like I said, that moment in the first half and a dodgy kicking at times, yeah, maybe a bit unfair, but I'm giving him a 5. Luca Dean, I've given him a 6. Some might say that's too high, but I think he always puts the effort in, Luca Dean. And you could see he was getting frustrated at the end there. He was trying. I mean, he was trying to get forward, trying to put crosses in as much as possible, and got stuck in at the back a little bit compared to most players, you know, getting tackles in and stuff. And he was trying to fight. He was trying to, you know, get us up the pitch a little bit more than most players. And this was the same as last season, you know, when the crowds weren't allowed in the back end of last season. I thought it was only him and Richarlison really trying for us, and today that was sort of the case with him again. I thought he tried, but it just weren't coming off of him, and there was no one really helping him out at times either. But I thought he put the effort in for the most part, so I'll give him a 6. Mason Holgate, I've given him a 3. Frustrating game, don't think he played well at all. His passing is woeful at times. I've said it before on the channel, but I don't think he's a great passer of the ball. He puts us in danger. There was 2 moments in the first half where he gave it away very, very cheaply. It's not like he's unlucky with the passes. He cheaply gives it away. And Fulham created 2 chances they could have scored from. Second half, again, he'd done it quite a few times. He then went to right back and his crossing weren't great at all, really. He was just either crossing it to no one or putting it back and passing backwards like most players did today. I don't think he played well, Holgate, to be fair, at all today. He just weren't on it. I would have dragged him off, to be honest. When Keane come on and left Coleman right back, but I know he wanted to shore the defence up a little bit, but I just don't think he played well. Ben Godfrey, I've given him a 5. I don't know if I prefer him at full-back at the minute, to be honest, but no Mina and Keane was going to be difficult. I would at least have one of them in there. Godfrey was the better of the 2 centre-halves today. I mean, he didn't do too many errors or anything. He got stuck in and stuff, but I'm probably being a little bit harsh here, but when Fulham scored that second one, him and Keane stood there and watched it when the other 2 Fulham players just attacked it. So that's why they scored a free tap in, but it is half a second. You know, it can't be too harsh, but he didn't do anything outstanding or anything. Done alright. I've given him a 5. Coleman, I've given him a 5 as well. Came closest for us all game, hit the post. Done a great challenge after that to try and rile the team up, but no one really responded. And then got brought off in the second half. I think he did get done a little bit for their first goal with the 1-2. But it was great play, to be honest, but his legs have gone. I mean, he come on Wednesday and looked really fast and back to his old self today. He wasn't get forward as much as we'd like him to. But he weren't the worst player on the pitch or anything like that. I mean, I would have left him on, like I just said personally, but I've given him a 5. Tom Davies, I've given him a 6. Now, without really affecting the play too much, I did think he always tried to go forward here. I mean, he did go backwards and sideways a few times, but he did also try and go forward. He got stuck in, got tackles in. I thought he was doing alright, and I wouldn't have brought him off. I would have brought Andy Gomez off, to be honest. If he was going to bring a midfielder off, I would have left Tom on. Thought he was doing okay. But I've given him a 6, because I don't think he really done anything wrong today, Tom. And I don't know why he got brought off. But some people might disagree with that. I know a lot of people don't like Tom Davies, but I've got a feeling he might prove a few people wrong myself shortly. Decore, I've given him a 5. maybe a bit harsh there because he did try and get stuck in, but nothing was going for him. Like Wednesday, he seemed to win every ball. Today was just the opposite, and everything was bouncing off him. Didn't really affect the play, didn't really get box to box like he usually does. Don't know if that was the personnel in there with him, allowing him not to, but I mean, I think he struggled a little bit more when Davis went off, to be honest. I don't know, he weren't in the game as much as he usually is today, Decore. Didn't really put a foot wrong, but didn't really affect the play in any way. Just don't think, yeah. There's moments in the second half as well where he was on the edge of the box and he'd always give it back and like just cross it with 2-0 down. But yeah, it was just a frustrating game. Andre Gomez, I've given him a 3. Don't care if you think it's harsh. No, I don't mean to say I don't care to the viewers, but I just don't think this fella's good. Look, he's had a few good games lately and stuff, but there's too many of these games in his Everton career that just happen way too often. I mean, it's been his we're in his 3rd season now, and I've never thought he was good enough for minute 1, but I always wanted to give him a chance. And people might say the injury's done him. He weren't that good before the injury. He weren't, okay? He was very, very average. We just overrated him for some reason. He passed back at every opportunity today. He moved it sideways constantly. Now, with Davis and Decore in there, you want him to be the creative one out of the 3, and he just wasn't. He wasn't doing anything apart from 1 or 2 long balls in the first half, which, to be fair to him, were good passes. That's all he done. He went through on goal and put it well wide. I didn't feel confident before he was even going to hit it, to be honest, but it was a good position. I just don't think he's... Look, I'm sorry to the Andre Gomez fans, but I think we need to replace him with a better player. I really do. I just don't think he's good enough. I don't. There's too many of these games that pass him by. He was a passenger for the first 30 minutes. I can't remember him doing anything. I really can't. He was there was some challenges he went in for as well and was just second to it. The Fulham players wanted it more than him. Livened up a little bit with 10 minutes to go with a nice little flick to Dino Bernardo, was it? That was about it. I don't think he'd done much for us today at all. Godfrey Sigurdsson gets a slightly higher rating, and that's a 4, but it's maybe a generous 4. I just thought he was a little bit better than Gomez today. He was isolated, in all fairness to him, in the first half when he was told to play as a forward or a false 9, whatever you want. Got a shot on target in the second half. It wasn't a great shot, and he'd done a couple of alright corners at the end there. I mean, they looked dangerous, but Everton just couldn't attack them. He was a bit of a ghost for some of the game though, wasn't he? I mean, he's another one we need to replace, I think. I mean, he's done alright this season, Sigurdsson, but I just think Everton deserve better than him and Gomez. There's a lot of games this season and last that I just give these 2 low scores, and it becomes a constant theme. It really does. I think I give Sigurdsson an 8 on Wednesday, and that was the high. Was it Wednesday? I can't quite remember, but I think that was the highest I'd ever given. And it's like a one-off. It's just... yeah. Carlo likes him though. Maybe he sees something I don't, but ever since that Liverpool derby game when the kids beat us, I don't really hold much respect for him, to be honest. But look, he done alright. He was a bit better than Gomez today, in my opinion. James Rodriguez is also getting a 4. Now, look, he did try to find little gaps and go forward and stuff, but he just wasn't affecting the game at all for us today. And I love James. I love him. But it weren't his best game today at all, and I feel like if I give him a 5, I'm just favouring him because it's James Rodriguez. I thought he was kind of on the same level as Sigurdsson today, just not really affecting the game for us. But more often than not, he does turn up. But today, he never, and he went off injured, which is a blow, I think. I mean, we're going to need him for Man City, or especially Liverpool. Hope he's not injured, but it was an off game for him today. He just wasn't at the races at all. Richarlison, I'd give him a 6. No, he was kind of isolated, I thought, for most of the game, but when he got on the ball towards the end, he did try and bring us forward and run at them, give us something a little bit more positive than most players were, but it just didn't fall for him either today. But I've given him a 6 because I don't think he'd done really anything wrong, and we just couldn't get the ball to him at all. He was up front for most of the second half there on his own. Calvert-Lewin does hold it up better than him and get involved a little bit more when he's up front, but there's been times where we've isolated Dom on many occasions as well. So I've given him a 6. Getting on to the subs then, Michael Keane, I've given him a 5, mainly because of like Godfrey just stood there and watched the ball. I'm being harsh, I know I am, but it just done me head in the way them Fulham players reacted, and we just watched it. And they reacted because they wanted to score. We didn't want to defend it. And he probably wouldn't have got there in all fairness, but it's just the way they both stood there and watched it. However, he did play a few nice long balls to go forward towards the end of the game and try and, get the full, Holgate and Dean involved and Bernard to get crosses in. But I like Michael Keane. I think he's been our player of the season, to be honest. But just for that alone, I've given him a 5 that moment. Didn't really shore the defence up. Well, he did a little bit. We looked a little bit defensively better, but yeah, he still scored when he was on the pitch. But there you go. I've given Josh King a 5 as well. There was a moment, we weren't really in the game either. I mean, he was isolated again, like Richarlison. I think they were both up front, actually, to be honest, when they come on. I think I remember McManaman saying they're very close together, but it didn't matter because we just couldn't get the ball to them. There was one moment where he just ran at the Fulham right back and he just caught them. He did score. Ball was in the net. From Gomez, to be fair, it was a good ball from Gomez, I'll give him that. But it was offside anyway, it doesn't count, it doesn't mean anything. He had the whole line in sight, but maybe he could have just held back a little bit. But it looks easy on the replay, doesn't it? I mean, but to eye the line up, but yeah, I'm not being too. It's just a 5. Bernard, I give him a 5 as well. Tried to affect it, didn't. It was one of them performances for Bernard, where he comes on and doesn't really affect the game as much as you'd like him to, which happens way too often. And to be fair to Bernard, he's very inconsistent. But there you go, that is the player ratings. Don't forget to check out the match reaction as well. Please like, share and subscribe to this video. And if you want to check my channel out where I talk about all these films behind me, the link will be down below. Thanks very much everyone, see you later.